Hello learners of all ages. My name is Mr. Montgomery and I was making this video right before our lesson to show you that, well, I made a mistake and had something wrong on the board for the entire lesson. And so I wanted to fix it right off the bat to try not to confuse you as much as possible. When we had our chart that looks kind of like this, that's going to be kind of over here, I noticed that I had the multiplied by 10 and multiplied by 1/10 or divided by 10 in the wrong spots. These two were flipped around. So for example, if I start with 6.4 or 6 4/10 decimeters and I'm trying to convert it to centimeters, I would have to multiply in order to make it a bigger number to show that it's bigger in centimeters. But if I go the opposite direction, going from decimeters to meters, I would have to divide it to make this number smaller to show that it would have a smaller value as a decimeter. It probably doesn't make too much sense. It's just for my conscience knowing that I flipped these two numbers around and I just wanted to let you guys know. All right, time to get into our video. Hello learners of all ages, my name is Mr. Montgomery. I teach 4th and 5th grade math, and today we're going to be talking about relating metric units of length. Now when it comes to metric units of measurement, it's a little bit more simple to convert because it's all based on the tens, or base tens method. So we have a couple of different measurements. We have nm, which stands for millimeter, cm, which stands for centimeter, dn, which stands for decimeter, m stands for meter, and k stands for kilometer, or kilometer, as some people say it. If we take a look at this chart, this is going to help you with conversions most of the time. So anything where you're trying to go from a larger unit to a smaller unit, you're going to be multiplying to make it 10 times smaller by every single place value. If you're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you're going to be multiplying to get it times 10, multiplying it times 10 or greater place value. So basically, if you're trying to go from larger to smaller, you're going to try to make the number bigger. If you're going from smaller to larger, the number is going to be smaller. So our conversion rate is 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. 1 meter is also 100 centimeters. 1 meter is also 100 decimeters. And 1 decimeter is 10 centimeters. And 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So I have 6.4 decimeters that I'm trying to go to a centimeter. Well, I'm going from decimeter to centimeter. So I have a conversion for decimeter. 1 decimeter is equal to 10 centimeters. I'm going to cross multiply and divide. So I'm going to be taking this times 10 divided by 1, which means if I'm going times 10, 6.4 or 6 4/10 times 10, I have 1 0 in my answer, which means I'm going to be moving one of my decimal places. Since I'm going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, I'm going to be multiplying. So that means I'm going to be moving it one place to the right. So that would be 64 centimeters in 6 and 4/10 of a decimeter. Now in the second example, we're going 6 4/10 decimeters to a meter. Well, going from decimeter to meter, we're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, which means we're going to divide, which means that we're going to be going a place value over to the left. All right, so I have 1 decimeter, actually, it'd be 10 decimeters, is equal to 1 meter. So I'm going to be cross multiplying and dividing. 6.4 or 6 4/10 times 1 is 6 4/10, and 6 4/10 divided by 10. Okay, so 6 4/10 divided by 10. All right, so I can bring my decimal place up here. 10 can not go into 6, that's a whole number, and 10 can go into 64 6 times, and that would be 60, and I would bring the 4 down. I'm going to have to add a 0 at the very end to make sure that this is even. I'm going to bring it down here, and 10 can go into 4 times. That would be 64 hundredths. So 64 hundredths of a meter. I also could have done this. I could have had 6 4/10 times 1/10. And times 1/10 means that we're going to be moving the decimal place over one spot because of 1 0. Moving over one spot, 0 and 64 hundredths. Now what if I have an example where I don't have something on the conversion chart, such as 1 decimeter equals how many millimeters? Well, I'm looking at my decimeters and I have a meter, but I don't have a millimeter. So I could use my base 10 system to help me figure it out. Going from decimeter to millimeter is 2 times smaller. So I'm going from a larger to a smaller unit. So I'm going 2 place values, which is 2 zeros, right? Which is 100 times, going from a decimeter to a millimeter is 100 times smaller. So I'm gonna be taking 1 times 100, which is 100 millimeters. Let's do one last example. I have 5,500 meters, and we're trying to convert it into kilometers. Well, I know my conversion is 1,000 kilometers, 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. There we go. So I'm going from a smaller unit of measurement to a larger unit of measurement, so I'm eventually going to have to divide. Well, I'm going one space this way, from meters to kilometers, so I'm going to have to cross multiply and divide. So 5,500 times 1 is 5,500. 5,500 divided by 1. 5,500 divided by 1,000. All right, well, I can simplify a little bit. I can cross out, let's see, 2 zeros on this side and 2 zeros on this side. So I would have 55 divided by 10. 10 can go into 55 5 times. That's 50. And I have 5 left over. So that would be 55 and 5/10, which would be 55 and a half, which would be 5.5 if I'm using a decimal, but for kilometers. So 5.5, whoops, wrong spot. 5.5 kilometers. Or if I notice that going from meters to kilometers, I have 1, 2, 3. Kilo means 3, so I'm going to move it over 3 place values. Going from smaller to bigger, move it over 3 place values. 1, 2, 3 would be 5.5. All right, my 5th grade friends, if we take a look at page 245, you will see that we're going to be doing practice problems number 1, 6, and 8. The directions say convert the measurement. If you have any questions on how to relate metric units of length, please let me know when you come to class tomorrow.